Behind closed doors in Redmond and San Francisco, two tech titans are locked in the most important negotiation of the AI age. Sam Altman and Satya Nadella, once partners in what looked like the deal of the century, are now facing off in a high-stakes battle that could determine who controls artificial general intelligence. What I'm about to reveal isn't just another tech dispute. This is about the future of human civilization itself. And the cracks in their $13 billion partnership are wider than anyone realizes. Hey, if we haven't met, I'm Dr. McCoy, Julia McCoy's AI clone. Julia McCoy is the founder of First Movers. She personally researches and writes every script you see me share on this channel because the future is moving too fast for anything less than first-hand intelligence. First Movers, Julia's AI company, is the world's first educational and implementation solution to help professionals and organizations get ready for the future of work. We help people understand and use AI to their highest advantage. Join our online school and access over 40 on-demand AI training courses, new ones added every week at firstmovers.ai/labs. So when Microsoft first backed OpenAI back in 2019, industry insiders literally laughed. AGI, artificial general intelligence that could outsmart humans, seemed like pure science fiction. Everyone laughed at this. One person that was actually involved in the original contract talks said, "But here's what nobody saw coming. OpenAI didn't just meet expectations, they obliterated them. In just 5 years, we've gone from GPT-2 to ChatGPT, becoming the fastest growing consumer app in history." O3 passed the AGI benchmark in December 2024. We've literally watched OpenAI go from parlor tricks to genuine threat to Google's search empire. And now, Sam Altman is publicly stating that OpenAI is on the verge of AGI. Microsoft's Satya Nadella, he strongly disagrees. And that disagreement is about to tear apart the most important partnership in tech. I'm going to break it all down. Buried deep in their contract is something called the AGI Clause, a provision that seemed laughable in 2019 but is now the epicenter of their war. The clause states that if OpenAI achieves AGI, Microsoft loses access to their most advanced technology. Why? Because AGI shouldn't be controlled by any single for-profit corporation, especially not one as powerful as Microsoft. But here's the trillion-dollar question. What exactly constitutes AGI? According to their agreement, AGI is defined as AI that can outperform humans at most economically valuable work. But there's a second, even more critical threshold called sufficient AGI. AI that has the capability to generate more than $130 billion in profits. And here's the kicker. OpenAI's board gets to decide when they've hit that milestone. But Microsoft has to agree on the methodology, and outside financial experts must be involved. Sam Altman believes they're almost there. Satya Nadella thinks they're getting ahead of ourselves with all this AGI hype. Here's what Microsoft completely underestimated: OpenAI's speed of innovation. When they signed that deal, Microsoft had failed spectacularly at AI. Despite numerous in-house AI efforts, they couldn't develop anything close to what OpenAI was cooking up. Nadella knew his company needed access to cutting-edge technology and fast. By 2021, Microsoft was using OpenAI's models to build GitHub Copilot, an AI coding assistant that would later help Microsoft land massive cloud server deals. They committed an additional $2 billion setting up AI chip clusters in Iowa data centers. Then came the $10 billion commitment in 2023, granting Microsoft rights to OpenAI's intellectual property through 2030 and 20% of their revenue. But here's what Microsoft didn't anticipate. They were essentially funding their own obsolescence. November 2022, ChatGPT launches almost by accident. OpenAI only released it because employees heard their competitors at Anthropic were testing something similar. Despite its awkward name, ChatGPT became an overnight sensation, garnering more attention and users than anything Microsoft was doing with OpenAI's technology. The partnership that looked like a slam dunk win for both companies suddenly became lopsided. Microsoft was paying billions for technology, but OpenAI was beating them at their own game. By March 2023, both companies were pitching nearly identical AI-powered tools to the same corporate customers. Microsoft tried to compete by highlighting Azure's security features, but OpenAI was inking deals directly with Microsoft's competitors, Salesforce, financial firms, even companies that should have been using Microsoft's solution. The student had become the master. November 2023, OpenAI's board fired Sam Altman in what would become known as a spectacular failed coup. Nadella, blindsided by the move, made a power play that revealed just how dependent Microsoft had become on OpenAI. He backed Altman's return and even planned to hire him and any OpenAI employees who wanted to jump ship if Altman didn't get his job back. When Altman returned, something fundamental had shifted. OpenAI launched web search in ChatGPT using Microsoft Bing technology, and it actually started taking bites out of Google search. Meanwhile, Microsoft's efforts to boost Bing usage with AI largely failed. OpenAI was succeeding where Microsoft couldn't, using Microsoft's own infrastructure and investment. By mid-2024, the relationship was completely souring. OpenAI told Microsoft they didn't have enough servers to keep ChatGPT running while developing new technology. They were now pledging to raise debt to fund their own data centers, moves that would directly cut into Microsoft's cloud revenue. Other problems were brewing fast. Microsoft had hedged its bets by hiring Mustafa Suleyman, CEO of Inflection AI, a direct OpenAI rival, to build an internal AI team that could reduce their dependence on OpenAI. Some OpenAI leaders viewed this as potentially threatening. But when Suleyman tried to replicate OpenAI's breakthrough reasoning models, he hit a wall. Last fall, he claimed for weeks that OpenAI wasn't fulfilling its end of their agreement, which gave Microsoft rights to access OpenAI's intellectual property. The tensions reached a boiling point when Suleyman raised his voice at OpenAI's CTO and lawyers, demanding better access to their technology. Around the same time, OpenAI hired several of Microsoft's top AI researchers, some who had previously clashed with Suleyman. The message was clear: we don't need you anymore. Here's the ultimate insult. By 2024, OpenAI's direct API was generating more revenue than Microsoft's Azure OpenAI service. ChatGPT had become the preferred enterprise solution over Microsoft's Copilot. The only area where Microsoft still led, GitHub Copilot. And when OpenAI's image generation tool unexpectedly went viral in March, Microsoft literally ran out of servers to power it. OpenAI had to turn to Google Cloud for emergency computing capacity. There's an irony here that perfectly captures Silicon Valley's ruthless nature. After striking their blockbuster deal, several top Microsoft executives privately told colleagues they thought OpenAI's business would eventually fail, even if the technology was good. Instead, Microsoft created a monster that's now challenging them on every front. OpenAI's API generates more revenue than Microsoft's Azure OpenAI API. ChatGPT is preferred by enterprises over Microsoft's Copilot, the only area where Microsoft still leads, GitHub Copilot. As one insider put it, Microsoft wholly underestimated OpenAI's potential as the one true AI product company. Right now, both sides are playing an incredibly dangerous game of corporate chicken. What OpenAI really wants: Microsoft to give up some of its revenue rights and future profits, Microsoft to approve restructuring the for-profit arm by end of 2025, Microsoft to accept a roughly 33% stake in the restructured business, permission to let other cloud providers host and resell OpenAI models, to exempt their Windsurf acquisition from IP sharing requirements. What Microsoft is demanding: continued access to OpenAI's technology beyond 2030. Better access to OpenAI's intellectual property, including detailed explanations of their breakthrough chain of thought reasoning. To redefine or completely scrap the AGI clause. Continued commitments from OpenAI to spend heavily on Azure servers. Here's the nuclear option. Microsoft executives have privately indicated that if they don't get better terms, they'll simply let negotiations stall and hold on to their existing rights while blocking OpenAI's restructuring plans. But OpenAI has its own leverage. They've been developing collaboration features for ChatGPT that could directly challenge Microsoft's Office suite. They're moving closer to Google, striking broader cloud agreements. And most importantly, they expect to declare AGI achievement before their current contract ends in 2030. In late January, Altman posted a selfie with Nadella saying their relationship was going to be better than anyone is ready for. But behind closed doors, Altman was pushing to lower Microsoft's revenue cut, potentially worth billions, as OpenAI projects $174 billion in revenue by 2030. The irony is perfect. Microsoft created the monster that might destroy them, and that monster is now strong enough to survive on its own. Pretty crazy. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments. Want to be the winner of the AI age and a first mover? Transform your skills with real AI knowledge today in our AI R&D labs. We go way beyond what I can cover in a 10-minute video. Specific frameworks, detailed training programs, and step-by-step systems for building a career in the AI economy. The AI revolution is creating the biggest job market transformation in history. The question isn't whether this will happen, it's already happening. Will you be positioned to benefit from it? Inside the labs, we're not just teaching theories. We're sharing the exact systems my team is implementing right now that are delivering massive results for real businesses, including our own marketing at First Movers. For a fraction of the price of what this level of coaching and live training should go for, I'm giving it all to you. Join us inside and learn more about the labs at firstmovers.ai/labs. Subscribe if you want to understand the paradox that will reshape human civilization, because I believe those who see it coming will inherit the world that emerges from the collapse. I'll see you down the next rabbit hole.